So today on Inspire Youth with HRH, we're going to be talking about fashion. And I got in the studio today a fashion entrepreneur, as he likes to address himself. He is a creative director and the custodian of the GNation Nigeria brand. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a discussion with Olafimihan Tolulope on Inspire Youth with HRH. GNation, welcome to Inspire Youth.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My first question is, how does somebody who has read architecture, how did you get into fashion designing?
Oh, well, fashion for me started quite early. I mean, it's not the usual way that everybody says, oh, when I was younger, I used to dress up and all of that. It's more, it started with a couple of questions. It started with, why can't I get this? Why can't I buy this? Especially when you're looking at your pockets.
Yes,
when you're
your
looking
budgets.
at your budgets.
Exactly.
When you're looking at, for me, when my parents were the dictators of what exactly it is that I needed to wear or what I wanted to wear.
Yes, we're all there.
You know that time that your mother will buy 5 yards of cloth and make it for your brother and your sister and you all the same, so you guys are all looking the same.
Even your cousins.
So for me, my foray into fashion really started like that sort of, and until I was in university, where these questions sort of drove me into building a brand. Because I mean, at that time we used to buy the Sean Johns, we used to look for the Fubu's, we used to look for the Mark Echoes. That was the university type life, you know, with the t-shirts, baggy jeans, Timberland boots and everything. Yeah. So, you know, the question arose that and at that time there weren't so many Nigerian brands as we have today. Okay. I mean, you could count maybe 5 who were in existence, and even at that, it wasn't as if they were major Nigerian brands. You would probably sooner even hear of Suradi Taylor before you hear of
GNation.
No, back then, before you even hear of something like Sojo. Okay. I remember Sojo. They used to make a lot of urban type t-shirts for the likes of tribesmen back then. You know, they used to have some very eclectic looking t-shirts. You have some brands that were almost no name even at that time, where you have some people who make some hip-hop looking, caricature looking pictures on t-shirts and things like that. So you had those types of brands that nobody really knew their names. You only managed to see them somewhat, somewhere, somehow. So for me, that was my foray into fashion. I asked those questions, why can't we? And I started doing the design. I was good in design. I've always been sort of good.
So being
an
architect.
So I started making designs, and then we now went into looking for where to get them produced. Okay. So that was our foray into fashion. That was how we started. That was how we started to build the brand. But as I said, this was whilst I was in school. So at that time, we started, when we got the few production points, we started making a few things that we started selling. I was making basketball shorts at that time. I was making stuff we call bowling shirts, so basically very casual type shirts. I was putting a twist in terms of color, in terms of look on some of the things I was doing. We were making a few different t-shirts. They were really crap at that time, but really they were crap. They were kind of crap because I mean they were. If I put them with what people wear now and even what people wore then, people would be like, but for the fact that we're really passionate about it, and people like the idea that our guy here is making some clothes that we can actually wear. It's not the type that's tailored down, you know. I had a lot of my guys who were buying some of these things, even though they were crap. I mean, I had some friends who bought some reflector type, track down type, cargo pants type, think Missy Elliott's Mace type video, and we made those track downs and we had them. So I sold maybe about 5 pairs. And my friends bought them. My friends actually bought them. I had some people who were making like jeans trousers, jeans shorts, jeans jackets. I had a number of my friends who bought them. I even had some who were telling me that they still had them right up to maybe the late 2000s. I'm sorry, mid 2000s. Even though they bought them maybe around 2002 when we started.
Yeah.
So it was great. I mean, it was great. That was how we really started. If we're going to put it start, and then when school finished, I went into work. Okay. To work with, I mean, as I was trying to work in the architecture industry, the construction industry. I had a few freelance work that I was doing. I was also posted to Oshogo, where I worked in Ministry of Works.
All right. So GNation, really interesting that you started about 15 years ago, and this brand is growing, despite starting with, just a few clothing, and which you have described to be crappy. All right. So, have you had any formal training in fashion design?
Yes and no.
Okay, please tell me. I like to hear this.
When I restarted, because I basically restarted my business around 2009. That was after working in the labor force. Yes, architect. I also worked in a fashion magazine, and I worked with a few brands around. Nothing serious. One of the things I did when I relaunched the brand, after doing a little bit of business planning with design and with stuff that we were going to be making, I now went to the London College of Fashion for a 6 weeks course. 6 weeks course. So it was just basically I needed to see what it was that was happening out there. Okay. So this was after a few years of running the GNation brand, running the business, and just working my way through learning. Yeah. So basically, I worked a lot more with experiential knowledge than being properly trained. Yeah. So over the years, by the time I set out some goals, by the time I set out some work plans, and even just ideas of what it was I wanted to do, I learned a lot from some of the things, a lot of mistakes, a lot of success to a certain degree, and then it helped to shape the direction of the brand. It helped to shape the direction. So when we started with making, basically I'll call them urban wear, the look evolved. Okay. The look evolved. For me, it evolved with both age and markets and clientele. Because by the time urban clothing worked for me because I was in university. Okay. By the time I finished university, a lot younger then, a lot younger. And once I got into the labor market, into the workforce, where a lot of us were becoming upwardly mobile, a lot of us were getting into serious jobs. The look needed to change. Okay. There was even a period of time where, even when I really relaunched the brand, I'm most comfortable in jeans and t-shirts. I'm most comfortable in shorts and shirts. Yeah. I'm most comfortable in linen pants and slippers. I remember a friend of mine who took me actually to go to meet a couple of people. It was like a networking event. Yeah. And I remember very clearly where my friend was introducing me to some of his people as a fashion designer guy. And I noticed the look, and I also noticed the okay, well done. For me, I didn't even read anything into it.
Was that because you're a man, or what was it?
No, because I was basically dressed comfortably, which for me then was a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. Oh. So when you're going to a networking event and you're supposed to network and you're supposed to show yourself, it does really pay to put an effort into how you look.
I'm sure you didn't do that again.
The funniest thing, it was I think it was a few days later, I actually met somebody who now actually voiced it out that, look, you're a fashion designer. How are you a fashion designer? And I'm like, I make clothes. I had pictures of, this was before the days of smartphones. Yes. These were the days where you had your pictures. Okay, so I had pictures.
Hard copies
that I said, these are this. Oh, okay, but you don't look it. And I was like, okay, do I have to look the part? Because for me, one of the things I used to think before was your work will speak for you. It will, but
you also have to show.
You also have to advertise. You also have to show. You have to also market yourself. Okay. So I was like, but this is what I do. I said, okay, let us try you out. And from trying them out, for me, lesson learned. From that day on, I needed to dress a little more, more like what I was selling. Okay. So that was how that was the involvement. So no formal training officially. More experience, more knowledge, more putting my hands completely into the industry.
Just get into it.
Just get right into it. I remember going to the markets. I remember being shafted the first time I bought fabric in the market. I mean, this was a time where you buy jeans material for maybe 250 naira, somebody for per yard, and somebody sold me 750 naira for a yard.
Oh dear.
And even the fabric sold at that time was terrible. It washed, it jumped.
Okay.
So
I'm really interested in finding out how you evolved with time. But just hold your response to that question. I'll be right back after this short break. With Olafimihan Tolulope. I like to call him GNation. Alright, so GNation, how did you evolve? You know, because it's one thing to start the game and to stay in the game. You know, you really have to, evolve with time. And you said with age, what else did you do?
I think personally, evolving in whatever one is doing is as a result of being alert.
Okay, you have to observe.
Yeah, being very observant, being very in tune with what it is that you're doing, and also in fashion, some people call it trend forecasting.
Yes,
and that's in fashion, and it doesn't make sense if what you're really passionate about in creating, in terms of whether it's fashion, whether it's any business, or whether it's music or whatever it is, especially in the creative industry, it doesn't make sense if what you're very passionate about isn't what the world needs at that moment. I mean, it's cool if you go ahead with your passion and do everything you want to do.
Yeah.
But if you're about the business of it, then do the business of it, do the needful.
Some people say that attribute, that quality of knowing what the people want at that time could be termed supernatural, spiritual. You really have to tap into the minds of people. I'm not sure you did any surveys. You didn't send out any questionnaires.
No.
So how do you find that out?
I would honestly just tell you it's not so much supernatural.
Okay.
But it's really much. It's much more about what you're doing.
Okay.
And even if you don't know what you're doing, there are steps for you to begin to know what you're doing.
Okay.
Back then, Google wasn't such a big thing where you could Google anything right now. I mean, like it is right now. So I could easily right now, if anybody wants to start a fashion line, you can. I mean,
you can.
It's a click away. How to start a fashion line? You'll see much information about it. Lots of And if you happen to just even have a passion for fashion, like a lot of people I hear, I have a passion for fashion. I want to do a fashion line. This. Very cool, very alright. I mean, feel free, go ahead. But then for me, part of the involvement which I was talking about, or which I mentioned, is there comes a time when the passion is cool, but it's not sustainable.
Alright.
Something has to sustain your business.
Okay.
Yes, passion will sustain your business and make you persevere in your business, but then you need the financial resources to make sure that passion is given an enabling environment.
So apart from the passion end, you need the business end of it.
Yes, of course.
And I know that for many creative people like you and I, it's been difficult to have a mix of both.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes you go into partnerships with people who have an understanding of business. But how's it been for you? How have you managed the business angle of fashion?
The business for me, I learned both the hard way and I learned with information.
Oh yeah, from the experience with the jeans material.
Yes, even not only that, you also learn that there are some ideas you need to learn how to do it yourself.
Okay.
I also learned that you need to make the 1 + 1 become 11 as opposed to 2, in the sense that you need to cost price, selling price, tangible profit that can also run the rest of the business and also feed you.
Yeah.
You need to also learn. One of the major things I actually really learned is that your designs are not. There's nothing new under the sun.
Alright.
You don't think that, or don't assume that, you've got the best stuff
in
town.
Yeah.
There are lots of people right now, especially right now, who are doing almost exactly the same thing you are doing.
Yeah.
So you need to understand that, look, you are working with a very competitive market.
Exactly.
You are working in a very competitive market.
Very true.
And it's not everything you think that is a good idea that will sell.
Okay.
There are some ideas. I have books, I have sketch pads, I have illustrations of like 1,000 things that I wanted to create. I can categorically tell you that out of every maybe 10 design, maybe only one makes it. And when I say only one makes it, I could make out of those 10 designs one of each. Nobody really buys into them, and only one becomes a bestseller.
Oh, is it discouraging?
Don't ask me why.
Is that discouraging? How did you sustain that?
It was discouraging at a point, but you've got to motivate yourself.
Okay.
You've got to, as a businessman, even in Nigeria, you motivate yourself.
You have to.
There's no, I memean, if you're waiting for somebody to pat you on the back, don't worry, to be all right. you forgive my language. You take. I mean, you have to, and that's why the people say that, oh, Nigerians, we have a very serious persevering spirit. We are very, we try. We are resilient and everything. In business, you have to be doubly resilient. You have to persevere seriously a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Because not only in running the business based on societal challenges and everything, but just basically knowing that, look, this business has to survive.
Yeah.
And for me, one of the things that I'm learning now is having an international perspective in doing your business.
Very important. Very important. How are you cultivating that?
Reading. You read. You study.
So
you
fashion
ask
designers
questions.
read.
You ask questions. You find some form of mentorship.
What kind of questions do you ask?
Everything. I mean, there's nothing bad.
Let's give the people watching. Let's give them something you
ask every question. There's no question that is stupid. There's no question that is seriously intellectual that nobody can give you an answer for. You ask people. You speak to people. Seek advice. Seek counsel. Find out from people who have gone there before you. Look for trainings and quote that will be beneficial to you.
Okay.
Some of that training will tell you that, look, you need partnerships, you need a network.
Yeah.
They will tell you need to be able to separate this is now business term. You need to be able to separate your cash flow from your salary, from all those things. You need to be able to break down your money properly. You need to learn savings. You need to. There's so much that you need to learn for you to sustain your business. So it's not even just fashion. Even if you have a pure water business, it's a business, so handle it like a business.
Very
you know
true.
that you're going to need to make sure that you have sold 100 bags of pure water is equal to so amount of profit.
Yeah.
That profit, what exactly is it being going to use for?
Yeah.
And you now work on growing the business.
All right. GNation, right here on Inspire Youth. We'll be right back.